Hello everybody, tool aficionados from around the world. I have another episode for the Tools for Thought, Food for Thought series. In this episode I want to talk about, not about ratchets. We know what they are, we know what their merits are, but I have items in the center here which you may or may not have heard of, perhaps never seen before. So I want to talk about the merits of those tools. So they're called quick spinners, and there's also versions of quick spinners that act as adapters. So when I say adapters, I'm sure most of you, perhaps all of you, are familiar with these types of adapters, drive size adapters, either going from a smaller to a larger square drive size. These are often contained in your mechanics kits, either going up or down in drive size. So these are what we are familiar with. One of the pitfalls of these is when you add this onto your ratchet, you lose, well, not lose, when you gain that much height, which could be a hindrance in what you're doing. You may lose the clearance that you need. So there's a variation to that, which I have introduced in a previous JTS episode. These are super low profile adapters. They are up adapters, so they increase the drive size without sacrificing clearance. Very minimal increase in height, as you can see. So for example, here we're taking a 3/8 drive to a 1/2 inch drive. So the difference is night and day there, night and day clear. Now the additional benefit to this is that, like I showed in the previous JTS episode, this profile acts as like a quick spinner. So that is perhaps a term that you may not have never heard of, and that is going to be the topic of this episode as I talk about those tools there. So just wanted to establish that that there are adapters, different types of adapters, and might as well just jump into quick spinners now. So you may have never heard of it. What is it? What does it do? What is it for? Just quickly inform you guys. This is the quick adapter. Quick spinner. The use for this is pretty simple. It's to aid in quickly allowing you to either start the threading in process, while holding the ratchet, or obviously once you break the fastener loose, you can quickly spin it out. So that is sort of the purpose behind quick spinners. There happens to be, as far as I know, you guys can obviously correct me if I'm wrong, or you know of other brands that offer these. So as far as I'm aware, in North America, we have Mac and Snap-on, and those are the two companies that I know of that still currently do offer it. I believe that is Snap-on and Mac. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked into it. But hey, yeah, guys, if you know of any other manufacturers, North American brands that produce that, and for that matter, any other brand. I know some of you guys are from Europe. If you guys have seen items like these, please do comment down below. So what I have are items from KTC and Nepros. So these guys over here with the all metal with the knurling are the KTC ones. They're actually Zeal versions. And these ones over here with the rubberized ring, the rubber rings, those are from Nepros. So now that we've talked about that, so what is it? It's obvious what the uses are. It allows you to quickly spin that. I tend to keep these on my ratchet all the time, and if I don't need it because of clearance issues, I can quickly remove them to regain my clearance that I need. So as you might be able to tell, maybe not, here are the 3/8 drive. These are both 3/8 drive quick spinners, but they have different dimensions for different size heads on the ratchets. So for example, this one here, I wouldn't say it's an overly large head, but it is larger than my Nepros 90 tooth, and this particular part number, I'll leave that in the description down below, but this one suits better compared to the smaller diameter one, where I don't have as much. I mean, it still works, but just telling you guys that there are different sizes available, and the same holds true for the Zeal brand as well. I got 1/4" drive ones as well, and the difference there is pretty clear. The Nepros is a lot larger, and that is, in my case, suitable for these round head ratchets. If I fit this smaller Zeal one, obviously it's a little bit harder to control. Now, the other merit that I wanted to tell you guys is, if you do happen to have them already, great. Hopefully it is a tool that has been a helpful aid for you. Perhaps if you are a user of this, maybe you already know, but something that I have noticed, some side benefit, or let me just get all this stuff out of the way here. So let's just imagine here that we are working in a confined area in the engine bay. Let's just say you can get one hand in there, maybe whether it's a transverse or longitudinally mounted engine, you might run into areas where you can only get one hand. You're trying to install a component, there might be a bolt that you need to start threading in, it's all blind, and it's just one of those areas where you don't want to be holding a ratchet and an extension to start that bolt. We're talking like, we're talking about blind areas where you're just going by feel, and you want to start that thread. Let's just picture that being my my bottom hole, the blind hole that I can't see. I'm in there with one hand. Sometimes that ratchet gets in the way. I want to be able to feel for that hole, and I want to concentrate on that. I don't want to have to deal with a ratchet on the end of this. So I want maximum control over my extension. So as I start to thread that into my block or whatever head, now I can so I started my thread. Now I want to put that ratchet on there. I'm reaching down into an engine bay, and let's just say I get my ratchet in there. Get that in picture. So I get my ratchet in there, and if you're lucky, let's just say it's in an area where I don't have a lot of room to swing my ratchet. I got to engage this square onto that extension. And if the orientation happens to be exactly right, bam, you're good. Then you can start ratcheting that thing in. But if your square drive is totally, out of sync, you might be fighting to get that thing in, because you're not going to be able to, spin your square anvil and fiddle around, and because you might be in a really awkward area, and you may not have that luxury to do that. So this is where the quick spinner comes in handy. You can simply rotate the quick spinner to sync with your extension. So I've found that to be quite handy in numerous situations. I might be putting spark plugs in the end of a firewall, close to the firewall, and I've threaded it in, and it's time for me to torque it to spec, and I need to be able to reach in there, and basically this quick spinner allows me to easily attach my torque wrench and torque the thing. So it aids, I think I've made myself clear, I hope, syncing that square drive to the end of your extension or socket. I'm talking about, confined areas where you don't have the luxury of using a cordless ratchet. All you need to do is use the trigger to align the square, and bam, you can start threading that in. We're talking areas that are very confined, which is something that I have to deal with pretty frequently. So that covers the main point of this video, but in addition to what I just said, here's something interesting here from Koken. This is a quick spinner and an adapter. So this is a 1/4 inch drive which goes to a 3/8 drive. Now most recently this year, Koken introduced a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch drive. So that's 2 drive sizes of an increase. So that's something that I will be adding into my collection. Yeah, sort of a mess here, but I hope that was of useful information. If you guys have any questions, please leave your comments down below, and you guys have a pleasant day. Thank you.